Firefighting Simulator Ignite is by far the most realistic firefighting simulator that I have ever experienced. As such, there is a bit of a learning curve to it all, so in this video I will teach you everything that you need to know. Rule number 1 to firefighting: get the victims out. Smoke can incapacitate a victim, and very quickly, and it can also affect you too, so make sure to press and hold your D-pad to the left in order to put on or take off your scuba breathing apparatus, that's SCBA. In the bottom right hand corner is an indicator to show whether or not you are wearing it. You will also start coughing and eventually pass out if you're not and the room is full of smoke. Two things you can do in that situation is to kneel down and then put your breathing apparatus on, or open a window and get some ventilation in there, but that can also cause problems, as I'll explain in a little while. A conscious victim is much quicker to remove. You simply look at them and click the X button to make them follow you, and you can do this with 2 or more victims at a time. And you simply lead them out safely to the medics. Now, when I say safely, remember that you can leave via a window, or even via a window onto a ladder. So don't take a dangerous route if a safer one is available. They will follow you. They're very good at following you. And if it's dark, then press and hold on right on your D-pad, turn your torch on. Issuing commands to your AI teammates is pretty simple. On a controller, you just use the D-pad. Pressing left is AI1, up is AI2, and right is AI3. Pressing down is basically saying anyone who's available or whoever is nearest to it. So to get an AI to move quickly to a location, aim at the floor or ceiling and click their responding D-pad direction. And then that AI member will try and get to that location or tell you that it's impossible. To get them to open a door, aim at the closed door until the icon changes, and then press the relevant D-pad direction. To search a room, look at an open door and do the same thing. To pick up a victim, you look at the victim until the icon changes, and then press the D-pad again. And you pretty much do the same thing with a fire that you want them to focus on to try and extinguish. Although I have to admit that this is a little bit trickier. It seems that you need to aim at the base of the fire to make it work. Sometimes it's just easier to get the AI to come and stand near you and set them to autonomous. Then they will just identify the fire and try and put it out 90% of the time. Like I say, 90% of the time the AI are fantastic and it will work. But if not, you can also give specific commands. And you do this by pressing and holding the left bumper and issue a specific command that way. There are numerous ways to enter a building, but the easiest one by far is through the door. You can open a door by walking up to it and pressing X. This will open the door and you can simply walk through it. A basic locked door will require a halogen to force it open. You do this by pressing the right trigger to initiate opening the door, then press X at the right time to start, and then bash the X button to force it open. A reinforced lock door, however, still uses the halogen, but you need to force it open twice. You also have axe mode. Now this will pretty much open any door, I think, or glass wall, and walls with cracks in them, or just basic doors, can be axed in. And this is quite an efficient and entertaining way to gain access. On the back of the truck there are 2 hoses. Supply hose, which is yellow, which you will attach to the fire hydrant. You do this by rotating the left stick as directed to attach it, and then connect the other end of that hose to the big pipe section on the side of the truck. And then you need to go and get the attack hose, which is red. This is the one that you'll use to aim at the fire. It needs to have a nozzle attached. You get this from the back of the truck. Make sure you press RT and not X. Otherwise you will pick up the nozzle and drop the hose rather than attaching them together. When using the hose, you have two modes available to you, power mode and spray mode. You switch between the two by using the Y button. Spray is great when you are up and close to a fire. Power mode is perfect for intentionally breaking windows for ventilation purposes and for any sort of distance work that you might need to use. When tackling a basic fire, try and clear the doorway first, and then some floor space, and finally the ceiling. Then edge forwards and repeat. Be careful though not to allow the fire to sneak around the back of you and get you enclosed. Very quickly you will die. Backdraft is much trickier to deal with. Backdraft is a situation caused when a room is hot but lacking oxygen. So introducing oxygen, like opening the door, can cause an immediate and violent explosion. Slowly introducing ventilation from windows or cutting holes in the ceiling can help to reduce this explosive reaction, but it is a tricky and delicate operation. Like I say, opening windows or cutting a hole in the roof can sometimes help, but it can also hinder you and set off the explosion. Best practice is to be prepared for the explosive reaction before it happens. Have your teammates ready, in position, and know what's coming. So how do you know when it's going to happen? Well, sometimes you can see black smoke emanating from underneath a door. Sometimes you can hear it screaming and whining. This often happens right before the explosion. Using your thermal tool can also help to identify potential doors behind which a backdraft situation is evolving. Once the backdraft has been exposed, it is way more intense and reactive than a normal fire, but it is dealt with in almost the same identical way. It just takes much longer. Liquid fires, on the other hand, can explode if attacked using water. So your best bet once you've identified one is to switch to foam or use a handheld extinguisher. You can do both of these things at the truck. Electrical fires can reignite easily, so if you don't isolate and switch off the power, expect this to happen. Flashovers happen very quickly, and they are absolutely devastating. Basically, when the temperature of all exposed flammable surfaces within a closed space reach ignition temperature at the same time, everything ignites and spreads almost instantly. Ventilation can help or hinder in this situation, but if caught in one, my advice is to make immediate your escape, as visibility and the chances of survival are minimal. You might initially think you have control of the situation. Chances are it's just going to get worse.
Mayday! Mayday! Someone get over here! Mayday! I need help!
Now, whilst not everything in the game can be demolished, using an axe to break open glass walls or cracked walls often enables you to reach victims much quicker than if you're trying to fight through a raging inferno to get to them. Ladders are pre-placed in the game and initiated using the X button. Again, climbing up to a victim or allowing you to attack a fire from a different direction is often the most useful tool in your arsenal. Now, some of the later vehicles will come with a mounted fire hose, which is excellent for getting roof fires under control quickly. Roof fires tend to be the last bit of the fire that you will extinguish, as they are sometimes tricky to reach or get to, or even identify. Again, using your thermal tool is a great way for identifying where there are still hotspots in the building. Press and hold down on the D-pad to activate this, and do the same to put it away again. So I mentioned cutting ventilation holes through solid walls or cutting ventilation holes into roofs. You need to do this using the circular saw. This is located in the truck, I think in the same location as the axe is, but it's in one of the side partitions. Simply locate a usable location square, they're quite easy to see, and initiate the cut with the RT button. And try and keep the arrow balanced in the centre when you're cutting. I find it easier to wait and see which side the arrow is going to move towards before applying counter direction. This seems to be the most effective way of doing it. Biggest tip of all, guys, you cannot do it all by yourself. You need to use and communicate with your team, be it AI or multiplayer team. Good luck to you. Any questions, just ask below and I will try and answer them as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching. Please like and share, and good luck out there. Stay safe.
Oscar 137.